Shalom all, Stacey the Black Feather Intuitive, and welcome to Tarot and Astrology Mashup. This is the quarterly mashup for October, November, and December of 2025. And I am so excited to be connecting with my favorite cohort, Dwayne from In the Stars. Dwayne, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm like so excited that we were able to, we've done now many of these, and being able to look back at our quarterly, you know, recordings is mind blowing. It's just crazy. And so I'm always like, okay, what's going to happen now? You know?
Yes, yes. Well, and we've talked about this before, but I really said last night I realized, oh, we're doing this recording and I can't, normally we record like a month or whatever in advance because I'm like so anal about that and A-type about it.
Yeah.
And I looked at my schedule and I'm like, oh shit, we have like 5 days before this.
Yeah.
I still got to produce it and whatnot. So I was like, oh, I got to watch our previous quarter, and it really blew my mind when we recorded it. I remember having thoughts of, wow, this isn't like I feel like like I feel like it's what everybody needs, but I'm not personally resonating with it. And then
Yeah.
when I went back and I listened to it all, I'm like, oh yeah, all of this has really unfolded like in some really freakily exacting ways. So I
Yeah.
cannot be doing this because it's been a wild ride this year. It's been a wild ride. The energies have been so wonky, and I don't know about you, but I've been having trouble keeping my energy up, keeping
Yeah.
the I don't want to say like the strength or the will to live. I don't want to be that dramatic, but like just like the will to get up in the morning and to, go and do the thing and connect with people and
Yeah.
have the energy, and I'm really hoping that the end of this year, this last quarter, is going to bring us some of that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I think, life is just like the waves in the ocean. Sometimes they're really rough, sometimes they're really calm, and you never know what you're going to get, and you got to just deal with whatever. So I know exactly what you're saying. Um and I'm having a great feeling about the upcoming quarter because I feel like, and we talked about this yesterday on In the Stars, how there's been a shift recently where everything was just so heavy. And now, even though things may still be, you may still be going through some kind of serious thing or whatever, it's a lot lighter. It's a
Yeah.
lot more airy because we're in the air, of Libra. So it's really a nice shift and a necessary one.
Oh, yes, ramen and pastaluia to that because
Yeah,
I get what you're saying too about that shift, and I never connected it to the air. But you're
yeah,
right. I do better. I'm a Virgo Sun, Gemini Moon, Libra rising, and then I have like my Mars and my Venus is in Libra. I have like
yeah,
I don't know, like everything is in Libra for me. So I might as well be an air sign. I think like an air sign. I behave like an air sign. And I always do well when
mhm,
I'm in air sign months. And I never connected the dots to that until you just said that. But yeah, I have felt lighter. It's not that what we've been dealing with has been any better. In fact, I think a lot of the things that disturb me, that bother me on a personal level, have kind of gotten a bit worse. But
yeah,
I feel it's like mentally and emotionally, I feel hopeful or I can see light at the end of the tunnel with it. Whereas,
yeah,
like the last couple months, I mean, I might have a day here or a day there where I could get to that place, but most of the time it was fake it till you make it. So that's
yeah,
interesting. Talk about that would be Libra season for me because I'm a Libra
yeah,
rising.
yeah. And I'm a Capricorn rising. When I get to those times of like we were just in the Virgo, it was tough, but I knew things had to be done. There was no, like you're saying, you didn't want to get up. I had pulled myself up and did what needed to be done. And that's a very earth sign kind of thing. They don't look for an excuse, they don't look for any reason to not do it. They're like, it's got to be done. I'm not going to question it, you
Yep.
know? So it was very interesting. And now that we're in this mode, and I have a lot of Scorpio planets. I have a lot of Taurus and that kind of stuff. So I'm feeling real good and homey right now. So
Fantastic. That's fantastic. I get nervous when we get into Scorpio, so that's a good segue. We're gonna do October, so we'll do our Libra season and then a
yeah,
little bit into Scorpio. So
yeah,
for those of our viewers, I am going to be pulling cards from the She's Wilderness Tarot. This is a fairly new deck that I've been enjoying. And then, of course, my favorite sweet ass affirmations for, kind of the overall feeling for this quarter. So, without further ado, I'm going to pull a card for October. And, it's so funny, Dwayne. I've been feeling like I get this way sometimes because I do a lot of recording and I'm always recording in the future kind of thing. So then
yeah.
my timing and I'm always in the clouds too. So like my timing is always a little bit off and I never know what month it is. I have been feeling like we've been in October for the last month and a half. So like the fact that I'm reading on October feels a little bit surreal to me, but oh, I love it. Four of Swords. Okay. So, Four of Swords is the card of truce, rest, peace. We could say self care. It's not technically the card of self care, but I want to say it's the card of get out of your monkey mind, get out of your head, sit in your heart space, allow things to unfold a bit organically, give up a bit of the illusion of control and allow yourself to be in flow with the universe. The Four of
Mhm.
Swords card is such a gift. It is a gift for all of us whenever this card comes up in a spread. So the fact that we're getting this for October gives me so much hope, gives me so much peace and ease that October may, whereas I want to say the last quarter definitely felt like we were in a storm, big choppy water. I'm still feeling that a little bit here. We're recording at the very end of September. September was very much like that. I feel like October is maybe going to be a little more smooth sailing. Not to say that everything is going to be sunshine and daisies, wine and roses, because that's just not life, but definitely feeling like we're all being invited to find areas in our life where we can put the pen down, where we can put the phone down, where we can unplug. This is also going to be a great month for those of you who are can afford a vacation, are ready for vacation, and yes, go travel and travel abroad if you have that ability, because I feel like this is the month where you're going to get the most bang for your buck in that regard. You're going to feel the recharge. For those of you who maybe can't afford to do something like that, I'm in that category right now myself. Day trips. I'm thinking to myself, I just went last Friday. I had a great time. I went to just outside of Sedona to all of the wineries. We've got a bunch of vineyards here in the desert and did a little day trip and went to all the wineries, and I was just so in my glory and in my happy place, and it was such a recharge. And even though I didn't go overnight and it wasn't like a week-long trip, it was more than enough to light my fire and float my boat in that day. And I feel that's kind of the energy of what I feel we're stepping into in October. I'm also getting that for those of you who are, I want to say, dealing with career issues or work related issues, what I keep hearing is the word surrender. Surrender to what is. Don't try to force something to happen, to make something happen. Be more in the space of, it is what it is. I'm going to wake up this morning and say to greet the day and say to the world, what do you have for me today? I'm open to receiving, bring it on. I feel like this is a month for those of us who are focused on career, who are working on career, having career issues. That this is the month to be in flow, to allow things to happen and allow things to unfold. It feels like there's an expansion that is coming up, an expansion that is long overdue. And the Four of Swords is inviting all of us to create space for that in our lives. What have you got for us, Dwayne? What's the astrology?
Well, I find it really interesting too that that's a four, which is a balance of two and two, and balance is all about Libra, and we're going into this season, Libra kickoff. And what it really means, what I'm feeling, and what I get from the astrology is it's a renewed, kind of like a fresh relational contract season. So, like making new understandings with your loved ones, with letting people really know how you feel better with the relationship, what makes you feel good about it, how things might help you, and then also being open, of course, to that other person because it's all about balance. So, whatever you're getting, you want to make sure that you're giving. And that in turn brings around social harmony. So whether it's your loved ones, your friends, people on, on your groups that you go to, you're going to start to see a much more balanced, kind of harmonious feeling for the next month or so. It's a great time to speak your truth and to do it gracefully. That's one of the big things about Libra, grace and elegance. And sometimes no is the best gift that you can give. I'm even learning that myself, and I'm going to put that into practice this month. You're going to have to say no sometimes, and especially when you go out and look for a bunch of opportunity, and they come back at you with everybody saying yes at the same time. You're going to have to say no. So it's a great exercise, and doing that also gracefully, because that's important. And for the Libras themselves, the people that are born at this time of year, it's a time where you need to maybe not over polish things, not over make things look so good all the time. Social media and, to your friends, I'm fine, everything's great, oh, everything's wonderful. This is the time to really be open and vulnerable, because it's going to be your best time for getting that back and for getting the balance of that. So for Libras themselves, it's a time to be open and vulnerable, and don't polish everything and make it look perfect. Make it what it is and allow it to be. And for all of us, especially the Libras, to be graceful, to speak your truth, saying no when you need to, and those relational contracts. What would make you happy? Don't feel guilty about it. Feel like, if I can get this and feel happy, then I can help that other person to feel happy, because then I feel like, well, what can I do for you?
Right.
It's that you get that feeling. So this is the time to do that. And the big color for this season is officially green. So if you want luck this time of year, it's green for Libra. But I believe that purple also works well in Libra, because it's such an elegant, beautiful, and mysterious kind of color that I think it's also a great power color. And green and purple are the opposites on the color wheel. So that would make sense that they would be somewhat in vibration together,
Oh,
Um, and also, the last thing I'll say is justice. This is the month for justice. Things are going to come about that in a way that they were meant to, based on justice. And we'll see that. I think we'll see that globally. I think we'll see that in our own small groups of people and families and things like that. You're going to see justice being highlighted this month. And then next month we go into absolute truth and no lies. So we'll go into that. But yeah, it's a good lead up to that.
wow. That really resonates. Especially with like the perfectionism, like having to let go of the polished. It puts me in mind of we are, still kind of in that eclipse season. We're still in the
Mhm.
aftermath, I would say, of the eclipse season. I think we're in the second week right now, or heading into the second week. And because of that solar eclipse in Virgo, that was something that I actually talked about it on my radio show, Phoenix Revolution Transform Unapologetically, last week, actually, about how because it is in Virgo, we are going to be looking at those ways that we may be overly perfectionistic, that
Mhm.
that the
Yeah.
perfectionism, yes, perfectionism, like the ego, can motivate and drive us
Yeah.
to higher heights and to better ourselves, and to, you and I were talking about this earlier, thinking outside the box, reinventing the wheel to see what else is there. But like anything, when it's out of balance,
Hmm.
then it literally squashes any sense of creative flow, any
Yeah.
sense of emotional accomplishment, feeling good about yourself, feeling good in your own skin. It can erode away the very thing that you're, kind of trying to achieve through the process. So that just gives me a ton of hope. I love that.
Yeah, and the Virgo is the most critical of all the signs. And the duality of Virgo is perfectionism and criticism. And how do you get to perfectionism? You criticize that thing until you've gotten every mistake taken care of, and now you're at perfect. But that should be the background for the
Yeah.
Virgo, not the everything. If the Virgo only strives for perfection, just like a Taurus does, sometimes they will never reach that perfection in their own mind.
Yeah.
Whereas sometimes perfection is the way it was in the beginning. Before all of the criticism and all the changes were made, that first iteration is what was the authentic thing. So it's an interesting thing for Virgo because they fight themselves. Well, it could be a little better. It could be that. It could be it could be, and it's like, what is it though? What is it?
Right.
You know?
And something I've learned as well is sometimes it's not about me. It's not about the perfectionism of me and what I want it to be. It's about the symbiotic relationship that I'm having. And I'm not talking about with other people. You can apply it to
Right,
that, but just like I'm working on a project. I've got an idea in my head. Oh, I think this is going to be amazing for my clients.
right.
And I start to create the thing, and the thing starts to have a life of its own. And if I don't
Mhm.
lean into that and allow it to, have its own say, to become what it wants to be, and I keep it locked in this, it's never successful,
Right,
or minimally successful, right?
right.
So it's being in flow. We're all one with everyone and everything, inanimate
Yeah,
and animate, right? So yeah, yeah, I love that. That's really cool. All
yeah.
right, November. Let's check out November. Oh my God, we got Nine of Cups.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
All about feeling. Isn't that crazy?
oh, this is incredible. So, coming out of the Four of Swords, which is just so peaceful and loving and comforting, and it's the warm hug, it's the cup of hot chocolate or the warm tea in front of the fireplace when there's like a first snowfall, or it's a crisper weather kind of thing. Here we have the Nine of Cups, which is wishes fulfilled. So, where you are relaxing and recharging your batteries in October, you really want to be getting very clear and concise about your visioning, about what you are really working to create. And it is about creation because November is bringing about the becoming. And I feel like as I'm talking this through, I'm feeling like things are going to happen really quickly.
Hmm.
Makes sense. Well, actually, you know, this may actually be a bit contradictory, so just bear with me as I'm channeling. The water signs and the water cards and the water energy tends to be a little bit on the slower side when we compare all of the elements and the cards together. But I'm actually feeling with this Nine of Cups and with the energy of November, there's going to be a lot of swift movement, speed, festivity. And what's interesting about this card and this deck is the coloring is very Phoenix energy. So,
Hmm.
here we have a Nine of Cups. There's no blue on this card. We have pink, red, orange. So we have that root chakra energy, the sacral chakra, the creation of things. There's fire in the sacral chakra. There's so much fire in the sacral chakra. So I feel like wishes fulfilled based on the passions that we are feeling. And I do feel that our passions are going to be ignited this month. I feel like it's almost like this big general wave of fire, good fire, warmth and energy and excitement. Think fireworks is what I'm feeling here in November. And I feel like yes, collectively, as this is a general reading and we are speaking to the collective energies, but I also feel like on an individual level, this is not like this is touching everyone. And I feel like for a lot of us, there's something that we've been really working hard to achieve, like a goal that And for some of us, I feel like it's been just out of reach, just out of reach, just out of reach for so long that you've almost given up on it. I don't know why, but I am feeling that November is where this is actually going to come to pass. I just feel a lot of celebration and I feel a lot of like ignition. So like the water now feels like fuel. Fuel. And I usually talk about fuel and passion and fire in when we're talking about wands energy. But I feel like this is the soul essence, the soul flame within you. The wand energy that's within you is coming through. It's coming out of you as this Nine of Cups energy is coming in to support you, to gift you, to reward you, and to acknowledge you. There's going to be a lot of acknowledgement going around as well. Taking the time to express gratitude to others. Actually, I think you touched on that earlier, Dwayne. I feel like November is going to be just well. Thanksgiving, I just realized, duh, Thanksgiving, gratitude. People do think gratitude month, but
Yeah.
that's not necessarily what I'm getting. I'm getting that everyone just recognizes that there is this level of gratitude in every day. It has nothing to do with the holiday. It's just like, oh my God, like thank you for holding the door for me. You have no idea how helpful that was to me because I was going to cry because nobody has seen me all morning and I thought I
Right.
was right? Right up to the, oh my God, I got the job. Oh my God, I
Right.
got the job. I'm so grateful, right? So this I feel is very much going to be a month of, this isn't the celebration card, but it's a month of celebration. I'm so excited, Dwayne. What are you getting for this?
Well, I want to mention that that first card was a swords, which is air, which is Libra. The second card is cups, which is water, which is Scorpio. The
Uh,
next one should be fire if it's going to stay on that, you know. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm feeling that the Scorpio time is about transformation. It's about shifts happening. It's about regeneration and facing what's hidden. So if now and through Libra is the time to open up and be vulnerable, then Scorpio is going to be the time to face what that brings and being brave, you know, diving bravely into shadows and those types of things, because there's treasure in there. There's some great things that you will find. And it basically is all about getting comfortable with the things that are uncomfortable. And, you know, that can bring about so much change and shift in your life and the people around. And I think it's going to be global as well. I think we're going to see a global reckoning of things that we've had to deal with in the recent past. And people are going to start to, because we are in that age, you know, that's what the age that we're in right now is all about. It's about pulling off the blinders and everything being open, whether it's bad or good. And you can see that in the news, you can see that in politics. People don't like things that are being said, but they're being said because they're in someone's brain. And it's better that we get things out and let people see what's really happening than to hide it, push it down, repress it, and let it grow into evil and darkness. So, and that's just my opinion, but that's also astrologically where we're supposed to be right now. It's about opening up and letting things be what they are, whatever they are, and then let's deal with them. Let's not hide them, push them away. So that's what Scorpio is all about. The power color for Scorpio is red and black together, actually. So those are two great colors that if you want to have power during the time of Scorpio, which is the end of October through kind of late November, that's going to be your color situation that will really give you some good stuff. As far as moon phases and things of that nature, the moon will be in Libra on October 21st. So going into November, the moon goes into Libra, which is about relationships, beauty, all the stuff that this whole month was about before that. And then basically moving into the transition November 20th, which is now the moon will be in Scorpio at that point. So we're coming out of Scorpio into Sagittarius. And so that means that everything kind of intensifies. So all of these things that happen at the beginning of the month, for instance, this month, we're in October, so we're in the moon will go into Libra on October 21st, right when it goes out of October, or when it goes out of Libra into Scorpio. So So basically, you can think of it like in the beginning 3 weeks of the month, that's when all that energy is all up in the air. You're figuring it out, you're doing it, and then it all condenses at that moment when the moon moves into the next sign. And then you go into that next new phase, figuring it out, intensifies during that new moon. So that's the way it is. It's an ebb and flow of those energies being condensed and then opened up and condensed and opened up. So for the time of Scorpio, everybody should really be thinking about how to really understand what's going on in their mind and in their body and in their immediate surroundings, and then how to put it into play into their life. So, and for the Scorpios themselves, it's basically the same exact thing. It's just focus on what needs to get done. Don't let all of the emotions hinder anything. You know, get the plight of a Scorpio, especially those of you who have Scorpio rising and moon and all this stuff together, is to learn how to control your emotions. And really, emotions can and should be controlled. If they're out of control, that means you have an issue that can be very detrimental. And that's why we go to therapists and we take medicines and whatever. But really, your brain is meant to learn how to control those emotions so that it doesn't hinder your pathway. And the pathway forward can only be reached by knowing what it is you want there, where it is you're going, and what you're actually going toward. So, and Pisces are, or I'm sorry, Scorpios are great with passion. If they're passionate about something, it's really hard to get them off course. So, you know, for you Scorpios out there, just stay passionate in whatever it is that you're doing and don't question yourself. It's there for a reason. It's the universe is giving you that passion.
Yeah. Wow. I love that. I'm a progressed chart Scorpio. So I'm still working through what all of that means for me, and sometimes it resonates and sometimes it doesn't, but that
Yeah,
resonates for me because it is about the passions. And one of the things I just wanted to comment on for everyone, not just for Scorpios, but I often talk about the feelings and emotions as being the road signs on our journey, on the roadmap, right? Like we're on the journey, we've got everything in Google, but you still have to pay attention to stop signs and you know, green lights and yields and caution signs and detours and things of that nature. I feel like we're here to have the emotions, to experience the emotions. It's not that we're supposed to pull ourselves away from that. That's one of the reasons that we have incarnated in this way, to have that range and scope of emotion. But as you pointed out, Dwayne, the emotions are not supposed to rule us. We're not supposed to get lost in them. They're there as a beacon to show us, hey, here's something that you want to take a look at because there's an opportunity for growth,
right.
an
Yeah.
opportunity for expansion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and of course, you know, it's all about emotion in November with the Scorpio. You know, it's all about feelings, gut feelings, intuition, those types of things. So that's what you really want to focus on in that time.
I love the intuition part. I could do without all the
I know it's a roller coaster. Think of how this. I mean, I know some Scorpios that are a lot of Scorpio, and they have a rough time.
Well, and I have a friend who recently just shared with me that they're a Scorpio, and they recently shared with me that they're hitting that sort of menopausal point of life, and they're just finding that they're crying all the time, like just crying, and they're like, "Oh my God,
Out of
like
nowhere.
this and whatever." And I'm like, I can't even imagine like being a water sign and having that as part of your experience, you know, in sort of changing, you know, the hormonal changes that are going on with the body. I'm like, oh my God, because you already cry. You know what I mean? Like you already are, you know, connected to those feelings and emotions and more prone to that. Me being an air sign, I get to be in my head, la 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 all the
Yeah,
time, right? Like I can disconnect from that. Not saying that that's the best way to do it, you know, compartmentalization, like anything, it works when it's balanced, and when it's out of balance, it's really bad, you know, better out than in. But
yeah.
yeah, I feel
But
for them.
they feel intensely. They feel emotions intensely, and we all can at times. But they have this over,
It's all the
you know,
time. Yeah.
yeah, and it can be very difficult.
It's their genetic makeup. Those Scorpios and Pisces, I've had a couple of Pisces friends, and oh my God, like the extremes. That's where
Yeah.
they go to the extreme. And I'm like,
Hmm.
I can do the deep dive with the best of them, but after a while, I'm like, okay, that's just like that's way, way over the top. I
Yeah.
shut down after a while. I shut down after a while. I can't stay in those extremes for
Yeah.
that time the way that the Pisces can. So that's interesting. Oh
Yeah.
my. Okay, so it's not a fire sign, but it's another nine. So we've got two nines in a row. And I have to just say, guys, so this is December. Nines are endings, conclusions,
Yeah.
resolutions. We're coming to the end of the month. So this is the second to last month of the year. We have that Nine of Cups, which of course we talked about, wishes fulfilled. Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords is the anxiety, the getting trapped in the nightmare, the overthinking, the I want to say rigidity and the stubbornness to accept shifts and changes, trying to solve heart problems with the head. Extreme, speaking of extremes, extreme anxiety. I'm not saying that December is bringing extreme anxiety. What I'm feeling here in looking at this card, especially two nines back to back, is that we are wrapping up a particular cyclic nightmare that we have been living in. And I'm not going to extrapolate too much on what that is. My hope is that for us as a collective, that this really is exactly that we are concluding some pretty nasty cycles as a human race, and moving into, I want to say, our higher selves, the higher versions of ourselves, not living out the basest parts of ourselves. But I also find it really interesting that it's an air sign. When you were talking about fire, fire needs air in order to exist, right? In order to exist and grow. And I feel like the swords is coming through in December because we do need a little more air. We do need a little more oxygen. And Dwayne, I'm sure you're going to speak to this because you're explaining so beautifully the progression that we have in the astrological cycle. I feel like here in December there are going to be some real choice point moments that each of us comes to in our individual paths where we say, here and no further. I stop this craziness, this chaos. I'm stopping this um what do you call that? The runaway train. I'm stopping the runaway train in my life. And I feel like on an individual level, this is going to hit each of us in different areas, different aspects of our chart, but in those areas where we have overcompensated, where we have overcommitted, where we have been putting ourselves to the side in lieu of or in place of or so that we can exonerate another person, we can lift another person up. And I don't mean this in a giving somebody a compliment or helping your friend out. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about those, I'm putting my complete life on hold because of your needs. I feel like December, like there's going to be some real swift endings to that. And it's going to be a little bit like, the word I keep hearing is faction. Like people are going to be sort of factioning off, not in like a warlike way, more like in a community way. I'm no longer going to do this for you because you can do that for you. I need to focus on me here, and therefore the focusing on me here also means that I'm going to gravitate to other people who are also focusing on the same things. And so that's where I get my support. That's where I get my love cup full and
Hmm.
overflowing, is through that relational frequency. So December, I feel, is all about energy. It's all about like attracts like. And I don't mean that like you're going to kick people to the curb necessarily, or that you can't be friends with someone who has opposite beliefs or a lifestyle to you. That's not what I'm talking about. This is the fundamental energetic charge that you get when two people come together and you're both like-minded and you get on a project, for example, and it's like magic. like you're feeding off of the other, and and everything just flows and it's delicious, and the project goes quickly and the project is really successful because you've got the right synergy that is happening between two people. I feel like that this is kind of what we're going to be tapping into, is no longer settling for anything other than that synergy between us. Wow, Dwayne, tell us about this.
Well, I think December, I have a feeling it's going to be the most exciting of all of this that we've been dealing with. With the October, if you can deal with the vulnerability, and then November, the reckoning of all that vulnerability and understanding what it means, we get into December. And even before we get into December, Venus is in Sagittarius. So anything romantic, if you have a partner, if you want a partner, that time is going to be magical, adventurous, unbelievably fun. And then when we get into it, you're going to have a thing mid-December 15th. The moon is in Gemini. The full moon is in Gemini. So you're going to have, that's going to be like a huge time for you.
Okay.
That's around the 15th. And December 10th is a great time. And it's just like you said, that fog is going to be lifting because Neptune comes out of retrograde and goes direct in Pisces. And so what happens is basically there's a fog lifting, illusions, confusions around like internal or spiritual matters can start clearing, and you might see more clearly what's been kind of murky and going on in your inner life, which is what we talked about in November and October, is that inner, what's going on, who am I really, what am I feeling, why am I feeling that way, now what do I do with it, blah blah blah, and then moving into this fun kind of thing. So
Wonderful.
everything is great. And then you go to the end of December, which the sun goes into Capricorn, of course, and that solar spotlight kind of goes into focusing on discipline, responsibility, long term goals, and that kind of thing. So, really, it's just about having a great time through December and enjoying all of the fruits of your efforts through the whole beginning of the year, but especially the most recent, the October and November times when you're going to be doing a lot of inner work, a lot of understanding. And then in December, it all just turns to a great time. And especially if you're in love or you want to be in love, setting that in motion right now is your best bet. And I forgot to mention, I think, but on October 16th, I believe it is, Venus is in Libra, which I mean, that's what Venus is. It's all about love and beauty. And so, if you are someone, not just a Libra, but anybody who wants to start looking for love, do it October 16th. Make that your beginning phase and walk through to November with that. And you will be rewarded and probably have an amazing end of November, beginning of December. So that's what I think. And then December, the power color is royal purple. That's my power color, Sagittarius. And so if you want to have luck and you want to have good feelings, wear a lot of purple in December. And the best thing that anybody who is an actual Sagittarius can do at that time is take a trip, start a project, create, just create, and adventurousness. That's what it kind of wraps around everything. And if you can learn something, if you can start going to a class, something of that nature, it's only going to help you as a Sagittarius, because learning something new is how you grow new things in your brain like a tree. And that's what branches out to all the things you end up doing further in your life. So, yeah, so I think it's going to be a great time.
Oh my God, that sounds amazing. And I love that purple has come up so often in our reading because that's my signature color. So I'm
And
like,
it's like
oh, well, I'm
it's such a
good.
magical color, right?
Really is. And it always puts me in mind of sovereignty, like
Yeah,
owning our worth. And that's such a Venus concept as well. I
yeah,
know, but and we're speaking now of December, but yeah, it's like knowing your value and worth, feeling sovereign, feeling like a universe unto yourself,
yeah,
and that you're on an island. It's not about isolation. It's more about, again, value and worth, just knowing yourself as a being on this planet, the bravery that it takes for each of us to choose to come through that birth canal and to take our first breath. I mean, every single person on this planet is a brave soul. We
yeah.
really are, regardless of the the various experiences that we have. There's a lot of bravery, and so I love that idea of luck, because bravery, I feel like, deserves a little luck.
Yeah, definitely.
That we definitely need that. All right, so in true Stacey style, we are pulling an affirmation, and this sweet ass affirmations, of course, is very irreverent, and it's very me. It's got a
Yeah.
little bit of so let's see what our fourth quarter, how we are going to wrap up this year, is going to be. Oh, I love this. I love my inner beast, and we hug until we heal. And oh, here's our fire. Here's our
Ah,
fire.
see, there we go. We had our air, our water, and now our fire.
Our
It's so
fire.
crazy.
Your inner dragon, your chaos and madness, is part of you. Instead of slaying your dragon, what if you loved it? Healing means coming to terms with your inner beast and giving it a sensual, I never want to let your crazy ass go type of hug. Love it like your life depends on it. When your dragon feels seen and appreciated, it hands over everything it's been hiding. All the darkness you've been so scared of turns into fire in front of your eyes and lights up your new world. Danger transcends to opportunity. Look who's blowing fire now. I love this.
I
What
love it.
card for this quarter? I mean, it just
It's
really,
what we were talking about.
yep, 100% compliments. And we didn't really talk a ton about healing, but I think it's interesting that that is the overall message from our guides is
Yeah,
this quarter is all about our healing. Healing from the
right.
past so that we can finally release it 150% because we can't take it with us when we go.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, and I don't mean when we go, I mean where we're going. We can't take it with us
Yeah.
where we're going.
Well, and look, for that is exactly what we were saying in October, is understanding what's going on and allowing it to be, not over polishing anything, not making things look perfect, but allowing yourself to understand, yes, I have this or whatever, and then dealing with it, wrapping it up, healing yourself, doing what you need to do, and then hopefully falling in love.
Yeah, I like
Be with
that idea.
yourself too.
I don't know how that's going to work for me actually, because I'm really in a space right now with I've started dating again this year, and fairly quickly realized I don't have the capacity to date right now. Like I don't think that's where I'm at. So if we don't want to find love, I'm going to just say that it's finding that contentment within ourselves, finding
Well,
the
that's finding love within yourself, loving yourself. Yeah. And what happens when you fully love yourself? That's when someone you find love because you're not looking for it.
because you're not looking for it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Wow, that's so cool. I love my inner beast, and we hug until we heal. Oh my goodness. Dwayne, tell everyone where they can find you and how they can connect with you.
Yeah, well, you can find me at my name, Dwayne Dunlevy, at Instagram, Facebook, all that. I'm on peddlersvillage.com doing stand-up comedy. I'm at the Cub Room in New Hope, Pennsylvania, doing stand-up DJing, all kinds of fun stuff. I have my perfume business. I got everything, which is on all my social media. So check me out there.
Love it. And of course, I'm Stacey, the Black Feather Intuitive. And the big thing to keep in mind for this quarter is my Your Year in Preview service and the Your Year in Transformation service. These are limited time experiences and sessions and readings that I do every year. The Your Year in Preview, we pull a tarot card for each month of your 2026 year and let you know what is going to be coming up for you so that you can really prepare and be open-minded and really kind of navigate to get the year that you really want. And then that year in transformation takes it a step further and allows you to see what the soul path for you is for this year and how you can incorporate all of that. So that's going to be coming available. I do that on December 1st through to January 31st. But I'm going to give you a hot little tip. If you sign up for my completely free Black Feather community, there's all sorts of fun stuff in there. It's through my Mighty Network, and you can click on the link below to join. You will be able to, because of the exclusivity of the membership, you will be able to book your session in November. So you'll get it before everybody else because I book up super quick. Otherwise, it was so great to connect with you, Dwayne. I love doing these quarters. We're going to have to make make an appointment to film the one for 2026 because, the first one, I'm really excited to see what's going to be coming up and coming through for us, especially with that wonderful finale that we just had in December. And sending everyone so much love. I hope you all have the most amazing last quarter, wrapping up
Oh,
this year. Yeah.
and you know what else? Remember, we were talking about doing double readings. So if anybody watching wants to do a double reading with us,
Reach
get in
out.
touch with Stacey.
Yeah, send me an email, shoot me a text. All the information is in the link below, and we'll set something up with you guys. A double reading
Yeah.
would be so fun to do. So you'll get the
Yeah.
tarot and the psychic, you'll get the astrology, and oh, the
Uh-huh.
places you go. All right, guys, take care, and we will see you on the flip side. Transform well.